Hi, welcome back. So today we are going to discuss REST API assignment. So last I have created some assignment for you based on the previous classes what we have studied. Like we have studied the API for creations and all, right? So we have done the CRUD operation like creating product, deleting, and all the other operations we have done last class, right? And other than that, we have done with the middleware as well. So we have got like some middleware could be there and which will do some operations before going to the main operation or handler, right? So those all we have seen in the last class, right? So after completing all those things, I have just created one small assignment for you so that this assignment will give you more boost up to your knowledge. Okay. So before that, the prerequisite is you have to get to know all the previous classes properly. Then you will might be able to understand, okay, this assignment, and you might be able to focus or do properly this assignment. Okay. So let's check with that. So it's a restful assignment, and I think I have shared with you already. Okay. So yeah. So let me check. Okay. So these are the API list which I have created. So it's for the user table and user creating the task. Okay, two things are there. One is like let's suppose you are the user, so you have to register yourself and you are going to create a task. Okay, so some of the things I understand like you might not able to complete it in this like assignment, but other than that I think you might be able to do. So let's discuss first what is this assignment all about. So it's a task management system. It's a very small assignment I have created. So you have to focus like you have to create a DB name as task hyphen man mgmt hyphen DB. So this should be your DB name. So I think you understood where this you have to keep. So you have to keep on the mongoose, right? You have to keep on the mongoose place. So wherever we are trying to connect to the DB, like this is the DB which we are trying to connect. So here in this mongoose.connect, in place of CRUD product DB, you have to place that name as task hyphen mgmt hyphen DB. Understood, Amar? Any doubt for this? Okay, so that you have to, and have to create a new brand, this one, okay? Got it? New folder, entirely new folder. This folder is CRUD product that should be task hyphen mgmt, okay? New folder. Got it? Everything should be from the scratch. Okay, so this is so I think you understood about the DB. Okay, so database name is this. So you have the first collection or first table that is users. So you have to create a users collection like in the schema table, right? You will go to schema and you will just create the user details. I'll show you after explaining this. So user table will have these all fields. So it will have name, which is string and required. It will have username, which is string and required. And by default, you can pass USR hyphen 01, 02, 24, 26, or any number which you want. Direct passing. Now, no, we are not going to do any validation or we are not going to create this by our own. Okay. So later in the upcoming classes, we'll try to modify this. We'll try to upgrade this. Okay. So as of now, just you can pass like username as USR hyphen 01. Okay. Next email you can pass, so it is string and required. So all the email validation and password validation and all those things we'll do in upcoming like classes and all we'll do, and then you can upgrade it. Okay, as it is. Okay, so now just you have to pass the email that is required and string. You have to pass password that is required and the password is string, and then logged in. So one more field you have to add that is called logged in. So it should be true or false. So you have to create an enum for that logged in. Okay, for this you can create string and password, but for logged in you have to create enum. So in enum you have to just pass two value, that is true and false, and default also you have to provide as a true. So if user passes this logged in, it should be either true or false he has to pass, in not string in the boolean. Okay, but if he missed to pass this logged in, then by default it should go as true. Okay, so by default it is true. This much you understood, Amar? This table you understood? No, no, there is like one field logged in. Okay, so see here when you go, before this you have to understand what is that enum. Have you understood what is enum? No, so you have to study that, right? You have to study it. See what is the role here. Can you see the role? Role here, type string. enum as admin and user. By default, it is user, right? So, in place of admin user, you have to provide true false, but not in quotes, not in single quotes or double quotes. True false can be passed as a boolean, right? So direct we can write. See here, right directly we have written true, no any quotes. So in place of admin, you have to write true. In place of user, you have to write false. So read it properly. That's what I'm telling you. You must have to read this properly. Okay. So whenever you are creating a schema, you have to follow these slides. Okay. 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 So let's go back to that. Where is that assignment? Okay. So understood now? So all this table data. So this is one user schema. So it should be like this, right? Already we have created the product schema, right? So where is that? I think it's a here, right? Models and product schema. So here, this type of things you have to create, okay? But in place of product should be users and product schema, it should be user schema. So properly, very properly and focusedly you try to do, okay? Name, price, all those things are there. So you have to just change it, everything, okay? But you have to create new project, not with in beside this only, okay? Okay, okay. So this is one thing. Okay, so next table is task table. So your collection should be tasks. Okay, TSKS, tasks. Okay, so I'll just given the collection name for user users, for task tasks. So task table will have all this field like user ID. So basically user ID you have to pass the user object ID from of the user. Okay, object ID of the user. Got it? So I think already have discussed with okay, let me see. Okay. So here you can see there is a reference, this author, right? Author. So this is type schema dot type dot object ID. So anytime you are writing type as string, right? Type as number, right? But here you have to write type as this copy and paste. I'll explain you regarding this. What is that? Okay. So user ID you have to write, or in place of author you have to write user ID. Okay. And in place of type you have to copy this. In reference you have to copy as users, small users, okay, in reference, and then required true. So this you have to paste it for the user ID. Understood? For user ID you have to do object ID of the user and required. So basically you have to do author, in place of author you have to write user ID. This is the one, and then you have to make type as schema dot types dot object ID, same as it is. In reference ref you just pass users. So there is a users, right? Users. So you have to pass as a users. Okay, and required as true. So these three things you have to make it schema for user ID. Understood? And other title, string, description, string, due date, any date is fine. Like you can just check this page. This page is very important for you. Okay, so check this page, date, what you have to write. And priority is again enum, so which is low, medium, high. And status is again enum, which is pending, in progress, and completed. And by default is pending. And enum by default you can write it as okay, I can write it as a high. Okay, by default here you can write it as a high. Okay, yeah, tell me Amar, any doubt? No, 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 no. Both are not in one file. Like how product schema is there. Same way user schema will be there. Same way task schema will be there. Folder will be same. Like see, I'll tell you. Or else let me create a folder and show you other than files. Okay, I'll create folder and I'll show you better. Okay, at least that folder structure you will understand. Okay, but these are the things you have understood, right? Which field what you have to do, enum and all, and what is high priority and all those things you have to make it. Okay, create it as today. So this is the two collections you have to create. Fine. Okay, so folder structure I'll tell you. Okay, now this you forget. Now this is schema I'll do. Now let's go for the users. So already like see in the product we did create product, update product, delete product, get product, right? So same way for a user you have to create a user controller, right? And there you have to create all this API. So API will be API slash auth slash register. So this is one API. Okay, this is one API. So you have to write, you have to pass all this data in the body, and it should be the post API, right? So this much only information I'll be giving, and response you have to provide as message user registered successfully, ID as string, and which is object ID of the user. So one API I'll be doing, other API you have to do. Okay, so like this. So first API is user registration API with the path is API auth register. Okay. Body data, because it's a post API, so body data will be there. So in body you have to pass all this data, and then in response you have to pass like this way. You have to, whenever user clicks the button, like you clicks the button from the postman, and then from that postman response should come as this way, not like ID, but it should come message as user registered successfully, and then ID of the respected user. So this user got created, right? So MongoDB will create one underscore ID. So that underscore ID you have to send it. Got it? This much you understood? Okay, so this is the first API of the user. Okay, next API of the user is same post API, another one API slash auth slash login. It should be login. Previously it was register, now it should be login. So other API, right? It's again post. So you have to pass data in body data, right? Data, body data. So this time body data will be email and password. Okay, and this line you ignore. This line I'll teach you. Okay, once you complete the things. Then once user will click by passing this data and creating the post API, so you have to send a response as message logged in successfully, and again you have to pass ID as object ID, same way like this. Here user registered successfully, and here logged in successfully. So basically user successfully means register API, what you will do? You will just store the data, right? So you will store this data to the DB. But in login API, what you will do? You will just match email to email and password to password. Both you will match using find one query. So using find one query, you will go email and password, you'll just match to the database, and you'll just, if both the things are corrected, if both the things are correct, user is passing, then you just send the logged in successfully. Okay. If both not passing, then you have to provide one response error, like error. User email or email password does not match. Something like that you have to pass. Got it? Understood? Second API. Okay. Second API, see how you created this first API register. Same way, you have to create second API. As register, you have to just click login. In login, you have to pass the data as this data. User email and password. In body used to pass name, user, email, password while registering. While login, you have to pass only email and password. And then based on this, because it's a login. Okay. So based on this, what login means what? Login means you are taking from user email and password, and then you are checking, right? You are checking whether the email, with this email and password, whether the data is there or not. Like how, I'll tell you, the similar to this what API we have done, I'll tell you. See, product schema is there, product controller is there. So one is create, right? In create, what we did, we just created, we took all the data from the user and we stored it, right? Got it? Product, at least you know, no product. Okay, so you did. Now later what you did, in detail what you did, in detail what you did, you took only product name or ID, right? Correct? Product ID. And what you did here, you did find one, and you passed underscore ID as this ID, right? So same way, this type of things will be login. So in login, here you are taking only ID, but there you have to take email and password. So that email and password you have to pass as it is. Like email colon, whatever email you are getting from the user, and comma, password colon, whatever password you are getting from the user. That's it. And then return the response. That's it. That much only you have to do. Done. Login means that is. Okay. If you are not able to write the database query, at least create these all APIs. At least index.js file you create, product controller that index.js file you all create these entries and all. Okay. At least somehow some strength you do. Okay. At least creating the index.js file, their entry should be there, like app.get or app.post or app.put, and then URL should be proper. Then connecting to the product controller, all those should be proper. Okay. And in product controller, creating the method like create, update, delete, or something like that, all those things should be created. Inside, if you are not able to write, you leave it as it is. Okay, I'll discuss and I'll do it. Okay, but at least these all things I'm just giving you to, so that you will be more aware, more practice of this. Okay, so logged in successfully. Same way, logout means just you have to take put API. So put API means you have to take the user ID, right? User ID, and then in request body, you have to pass logged in as false. And just you have to make the logged in as false, means you have to go the update query. So what you have to update? You have to update logged in field as false whenever any people calls logout. Okay, so this is like updating the product. So in update the product, what you used to do? You used to take the product ID in the URL and used to take the request body data, right? You should take request body data. So see, update query, what you used to do? You used to get the ID from the URL, that is params, and used to get request body, right? And then you have to pass like this update one. So where ID you have to match and dollar set is to set the data, right? So whatever you will write in the request body. So in this case, request body was price and all, but in this scenario, your request body is logged in false. So this is only has to get updated in logout. Got it? It's very simple. Okay, so like this, but put operation, so everything should be proper from you. Okay, now this much is done for the user. Now you have to go for task controller.js. Okay, so in task controller, it's now task is similar to product. Okay, task is similar to product. Whatever you have done in the product, no, same thing you have to do in task. So first is create a task. So create a task is nothing but create a product. So in this, it's written post API. It should be API slash task. So API slash task or slash create, something like that. You compare with product and you change this URL. Okay. So task, I think you can just write here slash create, so that it will be more good for you. Okay. So this one you leave, if login flag false, all those things you leave as of now. Okay. So the request body should be user ID, title, description, due date, priority, and status. So user ID you have to just pass as the ID, any user ID. Whenever you will create the user data, you just copy that underscore ID from there and just pass it here. That is only extra field you have to pass. But other than that, title, like how you provide title of the project, product, description of the product, due date, priority. So all those things you have to pass, okay, in the request body. So for this, you have to create the API. Okay, and response should be already, you know, response like object ID of the task. Like when we create the product, what we'll get? All the product detail will get back with underscore ID. So all those things you have to do. Okay, same way, get all the task lists. So I can just write here get list for you, so that it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, so list means nothing but you will just get all the tasks. So you have to write that API so that you will get all the detail, like how you are getting the get list of the product. So like that only you have to just change the get list of the task. That's it, getting all the tasks whatever you have created. Understood? Okay, next is again get task by ID. So it's nothing but get product by ID. So in here also you have to provide API slash task ID. So I think here it was maybe detail, right, for you, details, something like that. It was details in products, right? So details slash task ID. So task ID you copy from some other whatever it created, and then from there you copy that object ID and paste it here. You will get the respective task ID. But you have to write the query, right? Find one query you have to write. So all those things you handle already you have studied. Compare with product and try to do this. Okay, at least task one. Okay, so you'll get respective task detail. Okay, again updating the task, already you know updating the task is nothing but update query, right? Update query of the product, you are trying to update based on the task ID. So there you are trying to update the product based on the product ID. So product ID or task ID you have to provide here, and then whatever you want to do the data, like what you want to update. So those all things you have to pass here. Okay, never update the ID. You should not pass ID in the request body. You should pass other than ID. Either you can change the title, description, due date, priority, status, all those things you can pass. Okay, got it? So these all things, and then response would be task updated. Again same, the delete also should be same. Just pass the task ID. It will just call the delete API, and the delete will happen. Okay. Now this is the filter of the task. Filter of the task means normally what you are passing. Normally you are passing task ID in the params, right? But here in this API you have to pass query, status pending. So whatever, so let's suppose you have created task with status. Let's suppose you have created here task here. So three status are there, right? Pending, in progress, and completed, right? So let's suppose you have created 5 tasks. One task is pending, one task is in progress, one task is completed. Again, one task is in progress, one task is pending, one task is completed. Because this create API you will call 10 times, right? With different data, correct? With different data you will call 10 times or 5 times you will call, and you will create 10 tasks or 2 tasks or 10 tasks or 5 tasks, like that. So every time you will change this data, right? So sometimes you will pass a status as pending, sometimes you will pass a status as in progress, sometimes you will pass a status as completed. So you will pass like this. So whenever the status is pending, So I want to get only the status is pending. So you have to take like this. So here the details is like that. So status is, so whatever there in the database, same way you have to write. So I'm writing here pending, so it should be like this. Status equal to capital pending because I have stored as a capital pending here, right? Got it? So to pass like this, and have to collect this request.query.status and you have to just do find one, or sorry, find, not find one because you will get multiple. So find and just pass the status as pending, you will get all the data. See? So if the pending will be multiple, then you will get like this. So like this you have to get, or other whatever you want to get, you just get. Okay, but it should return the data from the database. Understood? Okay, so I'll just write. Okay, normally, okay, let's suppose you want to get task detail with ID. What you will do? You will just write this query, right? Product detail by ID, what you will do? You'll just pass the ID, but you can pass this is params, right? Params. But if you want to write this same as a query, then what you will do? You'll just write question mark, and then you will write ID equal to, right? Like this you will pass. But what you will do? You will take the task ID. Same way you are taking the product ID, you are going to the database, find, and then you are calling, right? Here, I'll show you. Okay. So see, where is that index.js? So index.js, where is that? Okay. So, here, detail, right? So detail, you are passing the ID, task product ID. In detail, what you are going to do? In detail, you are taking the ID from params because you are passing as a params, but there we are passing as a question mark. So here should be queries. And then what you are doing? Find one you are doing, but basically with the ID, with the queries, you will get more data. So in that, if you want to get more data, instead of find one, you have to just write find. Already I have discussed what is find one, right? In MongoDB classes. So if you pass find with ID and then this, then what you will get? You will get multiple. But if you will write find one, you will get only single. Right? So same way, so here status you have to pass. Status, and then you have to get the query. Let's suppose query, and then what you are getting? You are getting the status. And then status, right? And this status you have to pass here. So basically this status will have the value as pending because from query you will get the value as pending. See, you will get the value as pending. See here. Where is that? Okay, see this pending. Status will give you the value as pending. If I'll write a request.query.status, then you'll get value as pending. So this pending only you have to pass because in the database the stored data is status colon pending. So this value will be pending. So it will go as status colon pending. So and in this will be find. That's it. That much only you have to do. Then you'll get all the data which is pending. So let's suppose you have 10 tasks. 5 is pending, 2 is completed, and 1 is some in progress. So you'll get 5 pending data, entire data you'll get as a response. Got it? So that's what I'm telling. It's not like only copy pasting or seeing the video and doing. You have to understand as well. Okay? That is the reason I have given you time properly in product. So product means you have to understand. It's not like this is not like one 5 API. This is the API you have to understand. Like, okay, post means creating means what is happening. So anyone will tell create means the data has to go and store in database. Someone is telling list. List means what? Getting all the data. So you have to understand, okay, getting all the data means what database query I am writing. So database query list should be find query with no any questions, like no any parameters, right? If I'm going for detail and ID, so it's like getting the respective product. So here I have to write find one or find many. So you have to understand, not like just seeing the video and copy pasting and doing the things. Understood, Amar, what I'm trying to tell? Got it? Not like just copy pasting, whatever you are seeing the video, just copy pasting, completing the task. No, no, no. You have to understand properly. What is my requirement and what is the thing I'm writing in the product controller? Okay, so each and every lines of code you have to understand. Why I have written here find, why I'm passing like this, what is the requirement, what was the thing I have to do, then I'm writing like this. Everything you have to understand by seeing that video. Okay, then only you can do other APIs. Otherwise you can't do other APIs because you have habit of copy pasting. Just seeing the video and just writing the things, seeing the video, writing the things, then you want to get understand anything. Okay, so understand everything. When people will tell, okay, get by, so now I'm telling get by ID, later I can tell get by name. So you will again get confused, oh, get by name, how I have to do. No, no, you have to learn the way. You have to not learn the things. You have to learn the way. How the way I have to write, how the things I have to do so that I'll get the required output. Okay. This is just a syntax to pass, but you have to understand basic theme. Like behind the thing, behind this API, what is this API exactly for? What is this API exactly for? What is this API is exactly for? Why in this, let's suppose now tomorrow if I'll tell, okay, Amar, tell me how to update product with name. So you should be able to tell, okay, for product name, I have to, first of all, I have to create put API. So that you have to understood, okay, or put API means he's telling to update means it should be put API. Okay, then you will tell, okay, the URL should be product slash update, and then I have to update name. So to update name, I'll just take the ID of the product. So I'll pass as a params or I'll pass as a query. Anyway, I'll pass. So that is one ID. Now input operation, there will be body data. So in body data, I'll pass the name. So whatever name I want to pass, I'll just pass. And in the product controller, I'll just write, okay, so I have to update. So update means basically first parameter should be the query, right? An update. First parameter should be the based on what you want to update. So based on underscore ID want to update. And second parameter will be what I want to set. So I want to set name, so I'll just set name. So set will be there. I have just written request.body, but if you want to set respective, then you have to write, so write name, okay, colon, and then this one you have to write request.body.name, something like that. If you have not written here, but if you have written here request.body.name, then you have to just write name, and this name you have to copy and paste here. Okay, only one data. But if you want to update whatever you are passing entirely, then no need to write a specific, just write here request, sorry, this is here request body. So just you have to pass this request body, means entirely update whatever is coming in the body. So you have to understand. Understood, Amar, what I'm trying to tell you? Okay, so I have to understand properly, like, okay, what is the requirement and what is the outcome, what I have to write in the database query. Okay, which API I have to use in database query, which method of database query I have to use. So everything you have studied in previous, what MongoDB queries, all those things also slides go and see. Every time no need to refer video. Video is for your last stage. Like when you are not able to understand from your document which I am providing, the PPT, that time you have to go and check the video. Okay, but mainly you should focus on only the PPT. Got it, Amar? Okay, so focus on PPT. Never see directly video. Video is just for your last stage, like when your brain is not working with that PPT. When you are not able to understand that PPT, then okay, oh, I'm not able to understand this PPT. Okay, let me go the video and check. Okay, how sir have explained it. Okay, then you have to go. Never see everyday Fatakse video. Got it, Aman? See the PPT, read the PPT one by one, slides by slides, and check there what code is there. Some PPT code might be different and video might be different. So first focus should be your PPT, second focus should be your video for better understanding. Okay, and then try to create once. But if you are creating one API only, you have to ask all these questions. You have to ask, okay, why this API, what this API belongs to, what actually theme to write this API, what I wanted to do for this API, what is the major role of this API. Okay, for this type of API, what I have to do in the backend. So you have to go and check in the controller page. Okay, why I have written find one, why not find, why have written save, why not other API, query, database query, why this is for, what is this, if I'll write this, what it will return. So all those experiment you have to do. Okay, then you will understand. So if you, I'm telling you, Amar, if you have understood all this query, this list, create, delete, detail, update and all. So if you have understood properly why I'm writing this, what is the use of this, why what I'm writing in the product controller page, everything you are really understood properly, then you can able to do any assignment or you can do any project. Got it? But if you have not understood properly, then again you will try to copy paste kind of thing. Okay, copy paste is important, but only for one time. But again, second time, third time, fourth time, you have to make yourself aware. Okay, got it? Anyway, these all API I'll be doing, but I'm just wanted you to focus somewhat and try to do something. Okay, this 10th number API, you leave it as it is. It's a user task. So based on the user, like let's suppose you have created two users. So one user you have created for 10 tasks, one user you have created for 5 tasks. So I wanted to get only second user wala task, not all the tasks. So that time I'll, instead of other, like how I'm passing here status pending, so same way I'll pass user ID this time. So based on respective user task will come, not like all the task will come. Understood? So there are things are there, but at least try to read this properly first. Okay, try to read this properly. Try to understand what and all things I'm giving. Each one like 1, 2, 3 I'm given, right? So each request try to understand first. By seeing only you should understand. Okay, what I have to do. Okay, in our programming or IT world, whenever we get the problem, we will not jump to the code. Okay, we'll not jump to the code. When we get the problem, first we'll sit and we'll analyze the problem. Okay, this problem. Okay, now what is actual like requirement of the problem? What is the dependency of the problem? Okay, what and all things I have to do? In your mind only, all the solutions should get built. Got it, Amar? In your mind only, all the solutions should get built. This VS code and all these things are just is like a way to present, just like writing whatever your mind is thinking that you are going to write and display the people. But whenever you are seeing the any problem, you should be calculating to your mind only. Like everything should be there in your mind. Once everything should be there in your mind, like okay, I have to create this post API, I have to create this URL should be there. So this URL I have to write in the this page, and then based on the URL I have to write the handler page. So handler page should be the product controller. In product controller, okay, it's a register, so it's basically it's a storing. Post API, so storing, so I have to take the body data. So this is the body data I have to pass from postman. Okay, request.body is the one key which I can collect all this data wherever we're passing from the postman. After that, getting the data, I have to just call the product like whatever user model dot save using await, and then I can save this all the data and I can return response. So I like this I can return response, or directly I can do return. So everything should be there in your mind first by seeing this much. Okay, then you have to just write as it is, because the backend is not like any kind of pre-built type of things more. Okay, it's like however you will think, same way you are going to present. Okay, your thoughts should be available in the code. Got it, Amar? So before doing this project, before doing this assignment, first go to again product, that video whatever I have created for CRUD API for product, and listen properly. Check the PPT. First check the PPT of that. Already I have done that PPT, right? So check the PPT, try to understand in the PPT what I have done, what I have explained, and then go to video, try to see the video, try to understand the video, in which scenario what API I have created, in which scenario what data I'm passing, how I'm passing the data in post, how I'm passing the data in get, how I'm passing the data input, other way how I can pass the data. So all those things try to analyze by seeing that. Okay, then only start this assignment. Otherwise what it will happen? No, it will just, you will just do copy paste kind of work. So here copying, here pasting, here copying, here pasting, and nothing you will understand. Okay, so in company, in office, whenever you will go, you will not get a small API. This is just a starting. You will get very big API, and that time you have to think yourself like, okay, oh, based on this requirement I have to talk to this. It's not now, so we are just talking to in our system, but later you have to call third party API which is in other system, which is in cloud server. So those all types of things also you will be getting later. So many different scenario you'll be getting. So first you will understand basic scenario, then only you'll understand all the scenario, right? So focus. My intention for you to focus properly in each and every problem. Okay, got it? Okay. So just before doing this assignment, I think already I have shared this to you. I've already shared, right? Okay. So I've shared this. You just read it 1, 2 times, and before this, first you go to again product. For always try to focus on PPT. Okay, always try to focus on PPT. Don't go directly to assignment. Sorry, video. Okay, Amar. Whenever I'm teaching anything, just to open that PPT. Okay, today I taught Mongo schema. So you have to just read out the PPT properly, very focusedly, each and everything. Read out the PPT. Once you understood the PPT, practice this by writing in the copy, by writing the notebook. Let's suppose you read this slide, right? And you are okay. You read like, okay, I have to write username and these all things are there. So okay, so sit in mind. After reading this slide, just remove this like this you do. Okay, and just write some 4, 5 schema, like let's suppose you are going to design one more schema. Like let's suppose you are going to write price should be there, number, and it's a required, like that you thought. So just write in notebook. Okay, you have studied this. Okay, so for schema for price, what I'll do? Then write price colon and then okay. So what I studied. So based on that, so it should be number. So I'll write type as number. Okay, it should required. So I'll write required colon true. So it should be maximum this digit. So I have to write max length or max something like that. You have to write. So you'll practice like this way, no? So you'll get better understanding. So again, anything will come. No need to come here and check. Got it? Practice the way like it should be stored in your secondary memory. Okay, not like just studying, forgetting because you're just following the video, just completing the going forward, but backward everything you will forget. Okay, understood? Okay, so read properly the slides and then go to all the product. Like see here I have done all the see crud. This is the product I did, right? So read all these things, understand each and every lines of code I have written, how the connection is there. So it might have, I think this would be the different from whatever you have done. So you have to just check it how I've done. But the theme is same, right? Okay, theme is same. So why this code I have written, this create, what is create product means, what is happening. If someone will tell create means what is the actual things I have to do in the database. So basically if someone will tell create means you have to store by taking some data from the user, you have to store to the database. So that should come in your mind suddenly. Then okay, is that code is doing that? Okay, so code is taking request.body. Okay, so this is collecting the data from the user. Okay, and this is saving the data to the user to the database, right? So this is and then sending the response as 201, and then means whatever response will come from the database that we are sending. So like that, if you will read out the code, no, then you will understand. Okay, this code is for this, this code is for this code is for this. But for before doing this code, first you have to understand. Okay, what is my actual steps for creating the product? So actual step for creating the product, you have to write, okay, take the data from the user. So how I can take the data from the user? Okay, so user has to provide as a post, as a body, user has to provide as a URL, user has to provide as a query. So those all things you should do. Okay, this is one step. Second step means I have to create the schema, or I have to do this in request body. I have to write the dot save operator. So I have to write this. Okay, after storing what I have to send to something to the user back, like once he is sending the data. So that response you have to send it to the user. Got it? Understood? So like this. So like this, if you will read this one API, no, you will understand one API. Then you will get to know more clear. Then you'll be more talented. Okay? Got it? Okay. So let's go and try to create a project folder at least for that. Okay? So follow that with me. Okay? So where is that? Here it is, right? So let's create. So I have written task management DB. Okay? So just I'll create folder and I'll leave it for you. Okay, so in document folder, I'm just going and I'm creating new folder as, let's suppose I'll just give user task. I'll just give user task. Okay, user task API. We have to write basically API because we are doing backend, no? So just write user task hyphen API. Okay, so I have created this, right? Now let's go to VS Code and just close this folder. We don't need to this folder. Okay, just close this and just open that folder. User task API. Okay, focus properly. Okay, Amar, able to see properly? Okay, so just open on terminal. No, why it's not happening. Okay, so open terminal. First thing you have to do is npm init and -y so that I'm accepting everything. That's it. Okay, package.json got created. Here it's saying index.js. Either you can change or you don't change. Just write server.js basically. Okay, or if you want to write index, leave it as it is. No issue. Okay, just create one main file server.js. If you want to create index.js, that is also fine, not a problem. Okay, so just clear it. So okay, so for project, what basically we need. So for creating the server, we need Express, right? For connecting the database, we need Mongoose, right? Two things as of now I think we are using. So just install it. So npm I Mongoose. So how these things came into mind to me, like in my mind, because I have not only seen the video, I have understood also that video. So it should not be like tomorrow if I'll tell you, Amar, you just create this project. Then it should not like again you have to go to that video. Okay, which video this all creation was there? Okay, let me see again that video. No, it should not be like that. Okay, it should be like already you have understood that video, I have ticked that video. Okay, I understood everything from this video. So these sort of things will come again, I can do by myself. Got it? Amar, like that you have to study. Understood? So again, these are the early stage I'm just telling you, okay? Because once we will go to project, no, that will be very huge. Okay, that will be very, very huge, the project. It will not having like one, two table. It will have like maximum three, four table, five, six table might be there. Okay, based on the project. So that time, if I'll try to make you understand, like that time, what is the requirement or small, small things, then you will lose the focus that time. Because till going to the project level means already you are confident on creating the things. Already you are confident on creating any of the API which I'm giving. Got it? Okay. So let's install this. Okay. So I've installed. Now let's try to, okay. So I'm not writing any code here. Just I'm writing the structure. Okay. So what I told, so we have two things. One is user, one is task, right? So we are going to create, so click on the server.js and just create one folder called models. Okay. One more time, click on the server and just create a folder called controller, controllers, right? Two things we have created, right? In the product, these things only there, right? Any other things are there in product? This much only, right? Amar? Hello? Yeah. This much only there, right? In product. Okay. So in models, you will create, what is that? So in this in this assignment, you will have users hyphen models dot js, or I have written user capital M, that is also fine. Anything is fine. Okay. Okay. Okay, so one model I have created, one more, again clicking on the model folder and again creating one file. So one more file you have to create, that is called tasks hyphen models dot js. Two model, right? Because two things we are going to create. Okay, now same way in controller. So controller, what you will write? Users controllers dot js. Okay, same way again. I'm just clicking on the controller and I'm writing one more, tasks hyphen controllers.js, right? Two controllers we have created, right? So these are the folder structure. Model got created, controller got created, and here server. So in server you will write the express binding the mongoose and then writing the user, right? So let's suppose you are writing the users. So you'll just write app dot post, means one API I'm just telling. So slash, so what I have written, API slash auth, right? So basically the base URL should be only API here, right? Because based on the assignment, the base URL will be only API. So base URL will be only slash API, because you can see there it's a API slash task, API slash user, API slash auth, like that it's there, right? So you can write it as it is. Okay, so just write tilt and then do base URL. So just do base URL, and then after API it should be auth auth slash, I think register was there, right? Register. Okay, let me check the okay. So let me go for the first API. Okay, so API auth register, right? So same way we are going to do API auth register, and then after that here what we are doing, we are writing product controller, something like that, right? Product controller, sorry, not product, it should be the user. In this case it should be the user controller dot register, because you have created the method as register. So just pull this. So how you will pull? Basically you'll write const what is that, user controller equal to require, and then you will go dot or else you are in the server, right? So server means dot slash controllers slash user controllers, right? And from there user controllers you will go and create what? You will create a constant, right? Constant user controller, and then at last you will write module dot exports and then user controller. That's it. And then here this object, so first key you will write. So first key, what we decided here, it should be register. Okay, so it should be register. So let's go to there and just write register. Okay, and it should be the method. So here you write all the things, right? So it should be request comma response. So this is the basically format. Now here all those things you can write, getting the data from body and all those things, and here already I binded here to the server. So whenever any people will call this, they will go to register page, right? They'll go to register page, and whatever code you have written, that will happen, right? So these are the connection basically. Already you know all this connection. Just I'm writing one so that you will understand properly. Okay, understood, Amar? So this should be your structure. Okay, so properly see before going to this video. Again, I'm telling before going to this video, first you complete your product wala video. Okay, not only following the video, also like understanding each of the API. Okay, and making yourself again that API. Okay, writing each API and explaining about that API. Okay, this API is what? In database what I have to write, in user input what I have to take, how I have to take, I have to take from params or I have to take from query, I have to take from body. Okay, I'm writing post means I have to take from body. I'm writing get means I can take from params or query. So anything. So this type of things you have to sit and you have to read out yourself. Okay, for better understanding. Understood? Then you come to this assignment and do it. Okay, got it? It's very, very simple. Just you have to focus properly, you have to read it properly. Okay, fine then. Thank you.